much better quality. We are making some improvements. We're making some progress. Yesterday, I had a great privilege to talk in my congregation. And yesterday, we were talking about, I was actually talking about the analogy between believing and hope and visualizing and bringing the future self into today. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I just got a message here. Where is the Facebook Live? That's a good reminder. So let's get live on Facebook as well. And in 3, 2, 1, go! We are also live on Facebook. So that everything is connected, right, and ready to go. I love this. We are making some progress. Okay. So yesterday we were talking about this analogy. How does the cell phone is connected with energy? How cell phone is connected with hope? Like, where am I getting these ideas from? How did I come up with this idea? And I was just thinking, and I did some research. You guys hear me? I don't know. I was just the headphone. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, all good.
Connection between how we deal with our cell phones in our everyday lives and how we, in not that long ago, didn't even have that opportunity. Like cell phones, they started or to be sold commercially in 1983, which is 41 years ago. Now, I'm 47. So when I was a kid, and again, in Brazil, cell phones, they became very popular when I was in my 20s. I mean, not that popular, like people buying, individuals, not businesses, but individuals, they started buying cell phones when I was in my 20s. And I remember one of my cousins, he bought a big Motorola cell phone. It was like, looked like a brick right on the
I
side.
had it.
Walk around and people in Brazil at the time, when you saw somebody walk with a cell phone, it's like, oh man, this guy, he made it. Like he's healthy and wealthy and all of that, right? Now I'm just making sure here that I have everything going on my Facebook as well, because I just got a message. And then I was reflecting about that, and I came to the conclusion that how we set our goals and our visions to the future and how we interact with the cell phone or interact with the technology, they're directly related. How? Think about this. I can right now, well, first of all, I am here in this live stream and I'm live on Zoom, I'm live on Facebook and on YouTube, like all at once. So I like in 3 different platforms at once. And yet I'm connecting with some of you guys that are in Western Canada. I have some of you guys here in the Ottawa region. I have people connected here that are in Florida, people from Brazil, so from different places. And we don't see the connections that are made that we just can't see. They're out invisible to the natural eyes, right? But I know that if I pick up my phone right now and I call Galito or I call Shai, for example, it's a matter of seconds. The phone will ring as long as I have the right number. The phone will ring. You will pick up the phone. You can even talk through camera, and we don't think anymore about how everything is happening in the background, how the mathematics, how the calculations, like everything that goes behind to make that happen, we just assume it's going to work. And when we try to connect with someone and the connection is not that great, so what we know that is happening, immediately we understand that a few things are happening. One, if I'm calling, I'm going to use Galit, for example. I'm calling Galit. And then the phone is like cracking. So the first question, hey, are you in a good spot? Do you have good signal? Are you moving? oh, yes, I'm in a bad area, or the signal here where I am is bad. Give me a few seconds. I'm going to just relocate. And then we relocate, we get a better connection. And then, oh, now I have full bar. We can communicate with no problem. Okay. Now, I was also thinking about my kids, Spencer and Charlie. One is 9, the other one is 5. And there is not even a question if we will work. They assume we'll work because that's all they know. They don't know anything different. When you have this clash of generations, the generation that grew up without cell phone and grew up without technology, and then the generation, which is our kids, that are growing up with that, and yet that's such a part of their lives, and now part of our lives as well. As a matter of fact, the cell phone is just an extension of my body. I panic when I'm going somewhere and I don't have my cell phone at my reach. Yesterday, I turned my phone off, and this is rare. It's rarely a day that goes by and I don't have my cell phone on me. And Janet, my wife, she always questions, but why do you have to have your cell phone on you all the time? Like, why you cannot just turn it off and enjoy the moment? Oh, because someone may call me. I don't know if that somebody's gonna call me. I don't know what's gonna happen. And we have always that anticipation, right? I might get a call from somebody, or I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, but this is Sunday. I don't know, 5 o'clock. Like, who are you expecting to call? I don't know, just in case. And yet, you're not expecting anybody's calls. You're not working that day. But all of a sudden, in any moment that you're quiet, we see our fingers just scrolling because we don't want to miss anything. Now, it's like, how about hope? How about I'm going to use faith? Or how about taking risks? We don't know if things that you're hoping for, they will actually happen. I read a book a few months ago, and I kept this book very close, which is probably my library back there. But the book, he talks about winning the war on worry. And this book talks about the fact that the core message is that 78%, no, no, sorry, 87% of the things that we worry about, they actually never happened. Now, have you guys realized that in many circumstances in our lives, we have this hope that things they're going to work out and the thing's going to be amazing and you're going to get the results you want, you're going to achieve the goals that you're pursuing. But when something is not going as planned, that brings some disappointment, that brings some doubts, and it's like, I don't know. And it's very easy to be sucked in on the negativity. Now, what if we knew for a fact that the things that we hope for, they will actually happen no matter what? And we would have that certainty. But Sandro, what has to do with a cell phone? Well, if I have to call someone, and right now, I like again, this is so on the autopilot. I don't turn my phone on. The first thing that I check is like, because when I have a low battery, it shows right there in my screen, low battery. So I have to do put the phone to charge, right? Like this morning, I decided to try how do I use the camera on my cell phone as excuse me, as the camera on my computer, and using that, I saw the message, low battery. Uh-oh, if I have low battery, what do I have to do? Well, I have just to make sure that the battery is good. Okay, and then I go plug the phone in, and as the phone is plugged in, like, yes, I have good image. I have now the power to connect and use the cell phone camera as my source. But I didn't check if I had signal or if the Wi-Fi was on because I know already, like it's an assumption. so much so that this is happening on the background of my mind. It's like something that is already there, programmed on the autopilot. I don't have to think about will happen. And I'm like, okay, what if then, when I have hope, when I have plans, when I'm thinking about my future self, and I'm bringing my future self into today, what if I behave in such a way that I have the absolute certainty that what I am planning will happen? What if that connection, that when you call someone through video or audio and you're so certain that the person will respond just because they have to, like, it's a principle. If you call the right number, the towers are on. If there's no anomalies, everything is working fine, then the surprise would be if that person don't pick up the phone, right? And again, there's other circumstances. Oh, if they're busy, whatever it is. But I have a call, like this morning, I have a call, and I knew that some of you guys would be here because we had a pre-schedule set up saying, yes, we are going to be here connecting live. That's a certainty we have. So the surprise would be if I'm connected and all of a sudden nobody can hear me, nobody can connect. Then we start asking the questions. Are you using the right link? Do you have the right connection? Like, so interesting. And I'm like, okay, how then I challenge myself to behave the same way when I'm thinking about my goals, my dreams, my plans, my vision, my destination. What if I behave in the same way with the absolute certainty, my English now. I have the absolute conviction, let's use it. I will have the absolute conviction that is going to happen no matter what, right? Okay. Yes, having that conviction is great, but there are things that we can control. Okay, what are the things we can control? Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk, for example, about my life as a real estate investor. There are many factors that are happening right now as we speak that are beyond my control. But there's one factor that if I'm able to survive the chaos, if I'm able to survive through the very high interest rate environment, what is going to happen? Well, I know that if I hold that one property that I bought, and if I keep the property for the next 20, 25 years, it's very likely that the property will be paid off and I'm going to have the equity. If I use a 3, 4, 5% appreciation plus rent plus improvements, that house will be worth more. If I don't do anything else, okay. But we are so like immediatist. We want the results now. We want the results today. And guys, I am someone who is constantly investing in courses, masterminds, retreats, programs, personal development, because I believe that investing in myself is the best investment I can ever make, right? And yet, when I jump from one room to the other room, from one group to another group, most of the time, I am meeting the exact same group of people looking for that one strategy that will change everything. And then I'm like, okay, if we all that use cell phones knew that we could not use the cell phone anymore at all, something went down and we would not be able to use the cell phone. Let me go a little deeper. If we knew that something was going to happen and nobody would be able to use electricity anymore. Sandra, this is a crazy talk. Yes, there are circumstances that this is a possibility. Absolutely. Like if you are in a state of war, for example, and somebody comes and drop a bomb, yeah, but that's extreme. Okay, so let's not take anything extreme, like in the regular everyday life. What is the real possibility that we all will run out of electricity and electricity will disappear? Or vehicles will disappear? Or, especially here in Canada, like filtered water where we live in the city will disappear. Like, this is such a crazy concept that we don't even think about. Another thing, we walk in the houses every day. We wake up, like this morning, woke up, put my foot on the floor, like, it's kind of cold. What was my first reaction? Go check the thermostat. Oh, it's 18. Oh, let me put up the thermostat to 20 at least. And then I start thinking, when was the last time that I changed the filter of my furnace? Otherwise, I would not think about. I remember when I was working for Reliance, selling furnaces and air conditioners, and we'll tell people, hey, your furnace is getting older. You should start thinking about changing your furnace. Yeah, but it's working fine. We don't think about because we already expect that's going to happen. So it's not part of our thinking process until something goes in the different direction. And then what I'm challenging you here today is to have that concept in your mind that we can live a life of expectation, but with the idea that this will happen no matter what. Yeah, but Sandro, we have things that we cannot control. That's fine. That will always happen. I remember talking to one of my mentors, Alfonso, and he was saying, the market goes through phases. You have the hype and the peak of the market and drops and then so on, so on. We knew. Now, of course, when I think about the actions that I took and the moves that I made and the results I got, I knew the change was coming. I just didn't expect that the change was coming so fast. I never experienced a downturn before. That's the first time that I'm going through a market that is like crashing, right? And for me, it's like, oh my goodness, it feels like I'm dying. And when I get the phone calls and people wanting updates and all of that, and I talk to guys that are more experienced than I, or being through 2008, 2012, other crashes, and all of them, with no exception, they tell me, Sandro, I know it's hard, but it's going to be fine. Now, how do they know it's going to be fine? Because they've been through that. They experienced before. And this Saturday, I was talking to a very, 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 very wealthy individual. Like, man, like those guys that are like super loaded, that for his 10th generation don't have to work kind of guy. And I was asking him, how do you find peace in the midst of chaos? He's like, well, here's the thing. I am not afraid of taking risks, and I keep moving, despite of what the circumstances are telling me. Sandro, are you watching too much TV? Are you watching the news? Are you seeing what's happening? Not really. Okay, that's a great start. Focus on the positive and choose that one thing. Get one thing and focus on that one thing until it happens. Of course, we talked about the fact that at times we try the same thing expecting different results. Well, if this is your trying is not happening, you got to try something different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about different strategies. And again, the reason why I'm using real estate as an example, because I'm a real estate investor. So then I started investing in co-living, then multifamily, and now I'm trying to become a developer. And then I went to try Airbnb, which didn't work out, by the way, because of course I'm not focused on that. And like so many other things. Oh, how about going to New Brunswick? Is the new hype of the moment. There, let's go to New Brunswick. Like I invested in 3 cities in New Brunswick that I only know the cities on the map. Yes, but you have partners there. Well, it doesn't matter. And again, everybody's journey is different, everybody's strategy is different. But what I'm learning that as I move forward, why did I do that instead of getting all the resources, all the energy, and focusing one market, one location, and then excelling? Okay, now I understand this market. I know everything about this market, all the best locations, all the wrong locations, what type of assets before going to the next step, right? And he was giving me these advices. And I asked him, if it happened for you to go broke and lose everything, what do you do differently? He said, well, that's very interesting because it's possible. It is possible. But I set up my life, he was telling me this. I set up my life in such a way that the possibility you're describing can only happen if a catastrophe happens in the economy and the type of markets that I'm invested, because I'm always thinking 10, 20, 50, 100 years ahead. What? It's like one of his companies, he has 100-year plan. I'm like, but why do you have 100-year plan for your business? It's like, well, son, I'm going to give you a simple example. Okay. Back in the days, I'm talking about 30 years, 35 years ago, 40 years. He's an older guy. It's like, by that time, when the first conversations they started about going clean energy and talking about electric vehicles and eco-friendly sources, I saw the opportunity. I found a guy in Australia that was developing something that people were like, this is crazy. And I saw that 30, 40, 50 years ahead, that would be a trend just by looking to the numbers and looking to the macroeconomics and looking to the history of what happened to countries. And he recommended a great book by Ray Dalio that talks about the rise and fall of empires, that went back 500 years studying all the empires that rose and then dropped. And then he realized that based on these numbers and these trends, what he was investing 30 years ago will come to fruition now. And I mean, he put a seed 30 years ago in a project that the same seed is giving him back like 11, 12,000% return because he saw the trend. It's like, okay, so are you telling me that having a long-term vision is crucial to how I am playing and how I am designing my life? Absolutely, yes. And then I ask the question, but how about the everyday life? I got a bills to pay. I have wife. I have kids. I have now employees. I have uh, suppliers, and I have a mortgage in my house, and a mortgage in my business, a mortgage in the properties. Like, how do I go through that? Well, focus on the cash flow. Once you have the cash flow that is paying for all these basic needs, we can live life a little bit. Focus then on the lifestyle. Once the lifestyle is going, then you start thinking about home runs. And many of us, we want to start on the home run right off the bat without even making sure that our bases are covered, without making sure that we are walking in such a way that you are making decisions that will have an impact on the next 6 months, and then have an impact on the next 5 years, then I have an impact on the next 10 years. And guys, it's much easier said than done. I remember last year I hosted a mastermind in Wakefield, and the theme of the mastermind was, what if you have to go back to zero and start over? Oh man, I had so many great ideas to everybody. I was literally telling everybody, you should do this and you should do that, and all these things, until I find my own self in that predicament. And now, wow, did you go back to zero? It feels like, right? Had a fantastic sales job that was making, in my opinion, I was making a lot of money. And like, I was actually making a lot of money. But then I had this idea. You know what? I know how it feels like making money, but making all this money is taking my time away from my family. So my motivation when I made a career change from being one of the top sales guys for a HVAC company to get into coaching and real estate investing full time, I did it without listening to some of the guys that have been there before. Sandro, I know you want to quit this job so bad. I know you understand the value of your time, but make sure you have a cushion first. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Well, I quit the job, right? Now, it's interesting that when you make these moves and you're making a lot of money, the banks, they are putting a red carpet and they give you calls. They even come to you. Like they send somebody to come meet you to talk about the opportunities and they throw credit at you. And then once I don't have that T4 to show anymore, oh, sorry, that line you're closing. Oh, that, and then you start seeing the doors closing one after the other. Oh my goodness, how can I keep doing this? And then on top of that, we are hearing people saying, make moves, take action, take massive action, an ocean of opportunities. And then, of course, we want to take action. We want to take care of the opportunities. We want to do whatever it takes. What we do, we're going to take action. Now, are we taking the right actions? Well, we think so. I thought so. The buying is, and I'm going to use this as an example, right? Sandro, how much is your portfolio worth? Oh, it's worth a lot. The size of the portfolio I'm involved in is like 8 figures. But what I'm not telling or people are not asking, so okay, Mr. 8 figures, how much of these 8 figures are actually bringing home? Oh, don't go there. Don't ask that. No, 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 no. I don't want to talk about that. Why not? Because, like, think about this. If you have a portfolio, I'm going to just get a number here. I don't know. Let's say, how much is 8 figures? 10 million. Let's use 10 million as an example. Okay. Where is my calculator? I'm going to do a quick math here. Okay. If I have a 10 million portfolio, okay, which I'm not disclosing all my portfolio, but just give a perspective. Okay. And then on that, I have an increase. So I'm going to get here 10 million times 1%. That's $100,000 increase. If you have a project that once you got in, the interest rates there are below 5%. And if you have 1% increase in that 10 million, you just had $100,000 liability increase because of the mortgage payments. Now, think about this. Some of the properties, I didn't have 1%. I had like 5, 6% increase. And then you start doing the math, right? Now, yes, I took a lot of action, but it was like, did I calculate that? Did I consider the risks? No, I did not. No, I'm a positive guy. I'm going to figure it out. Things are going to work out. Well, guess what? Things didn't work. I mean, things are not working that well, Mr. Sandro. Yes, we got to get creative, get the investors involved. Some of the projects we were expecting to give back to the investors now we're just getting the minds together to make other moves go in different directions. And yet, we have to have the clarity and the humility to come back and look in the mirror and say, I could not control this outcome, but I can control how I behave. I can live a life as I live with the certainty that when I get my cell phone and I call somebody, they're going to answer the call just because I have a signal. They have a signal. Everything's fine. So they should receive this call and have the certainty that as my mentors are telling me, things are going to be okay. And then sit down, get a piece of paper, get a pen, write everything down and say, where do I go from here? Many of us, we did invest thousands of dollars in programs with the certainty that that action, that direction was going to change the reality of our finances, myself included, right? And not to blame any programs because I participated in many of them. But it's more about how am I getting all that information. Last week we talked about that. It's not about the lack of information. We have actually too much knowledge, but it's all about being intentional and choosing that one thing There's one book that I recommend that is written by Gary Keller. It's called The One Thing, and he talks a lot about that. Choose that one thing, that one strategy. Are you going to do flips? Are you going to do rooming house? Are you going to do student housing? Are you going to do developments in fields? Whatever it is, if you're a real estate investor, or if you are a professional changing careers. No, I have someone that I really, really, really like, and man, her commitment to her goals is unbreakable. Yes, she goes through stuff, and sometimes you're talking and she's discouraged. Of course, she's a human. And so she's a realtor. And I personally mentioned to her a few times, just get a couple of houses and sell a couple of houses on the residential side. No, I'm a commercial real estate agent, and this is my focus. This is what I'm going to do. Like, no one, including her husband, has the ability to change her mind because she's so focused in that one thing. And I can guarantee you that in a couple of years, I'm going to come to her and she'll be thriving. You know why? There's one book that I was reading. Where's the book? It's right here. It's called The Boss Moves, written by another mentor of mine, Myron Golden. I was just reading this book this morning. And the book is called The Boss Moves. The Boss Moves book, I can find the book is somewhere here in my pile of books. But he was talking about the fact that he went through some challenges in his life, and then he decided to to sell. Oh, I found the book here. Yes, let me show you guys this book. So this is the book that I'm talking about, Boss Moves. Okay, and he was going through this book. Oh, can you see here? Yes, Myron Golden. Now, the one thing that I found fascinating is that he decided to sell insurance, and as he was selling insurance, he was like, I'm going to become the best at this. First year, 0 sales. Second year, 0 sales. Third year, 0 sales. And then people start telling him, like, dude, give up. Like, it's not our goal. No, I'm going to succeed no matter what. And all of a sudden, that's what people told him. All of a sudden, he started getting results. And then he was selling alone 10% more than the whole office combined. And there was an office with 25 guys. Some of the top guys, always in the top, been doing that for a long time. And this guy comes, and now he's selling 10% more than everybody combined because he was so certain that that was the direction that he was going. Now was going to change. He said, until I am successful selling life insurance, I'm not going to do something different. I was also another mentor of mine, Mark Friends. We're having some conversations, and last week he challenged me, Sandro, go watch the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Oh, I already watched this movie. Watch again. So I did watch again this weekend. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I watched this movie before, and I forgot that the guy, he was like sleeping in the bathroom of a subway station with his son. Like, there was actually something that happened. Of course, you see in the movie, oh, that didn't happen. It did actually happen. So even when we look into our current circumstances, we say, okay, am I in a position that I have to get my kids and go sleep in the bathroom of a subway station? No, 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 no. That's not happening. Like, I mean, that's not happening. The way that things are right now, they're not that bad. Okay. Am I having to get into the line to get into a food bank to get food? No, I'm not there. Okay, so we are going to be okay. And use the hope, use the energy, use the brain capacity you have, the thing that you have right here, that is your mind, and think, what are the things that I am doing that are being distractions? They're nothing more than distraction. Guys, I love to be social. I love the whole meetup thing and the whole let's go see each other. But yet, every time that I go, it's just a hype. You get the hype. It's like a dopamine that comes in. Oh my goodness, let's take action. Everybody's taking action. Everybody's doing a bunch of things. It's like, wow, I see a lot of noise. So how about then take a step back and have the certainty? I'm doing this one thing, and until I see this thing coming to fruition, I'm not gonna budge. Yeah, but how about the whole cash flow thing? How about the whole lifestyle thing? How about the whole home runs? Oh, it's up to each one of us to step back and to make the decisions, right? That will have the impact. Like I was with one student and it was very, very, very discouraged. Like, no, I can't find anything. I even saved some money to buy some real estate. It's not working. And we are comparing two markets, Ontario and Alberta. So he sent me a link. Look what you can buy for 500,000 in Empire, which is the city I live in. It's a small town, like about 12,000 people, very close to Ottawa. And look what you can buy with the same 500,000 in Alberta, in Leduc, like very close to the airport. And again, here in Empire, you can buy a townhouse, 2 bedrooms, like a bungalow townhouse, 2 bedrooms, a single car garage, and the same 500,000 in Leduc, you can buy a newly constructed, like it was a house that was built in 2019, so it's fairly new. 2-car garage, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms for the same money. It's like, well, but look into the economics, right? I love Alberta. I spent 5 weeks there in 2021. I spent 3 months there in 2013. Like, if it was up to me, I would be living there. My wife at the time, in 2021, I got the offer. It's like, no, we are not moving. And so I stayed. But when I'm looking into the market, yes, Alberta is great. And again, guys, this is my personal experience. I'm not giving advice or any sort. I'm just talking about my personal experience and my own searching and my own findings. That I see the economy and the real estate market in Alberta is more, there's more variation than in Ontario. So yes, here we have more appreciation, a better appreciation than we have in Alberta. But let's use that as an example. And we came to the conclusion that if you are able to find a house here in Ontario, I'm going to say in the Ottawa region, even if he bought that bungalow for $500,000 and just put time, didn't do another thing at all, buy the house, put in the $100,000 that he has saved as a down payment, putting 20% down, and just sitting and waiting. In 20 years, using 4% appreciation, what is the value of the property? Plus the rent, plus the improvements. Like, actually, compared to the 100,000 that he invested, what is the actual capital you can have? It's like, oh my goodness, we don't really do this math a lot. And there's a great tool out there. It's dealcheck.io. Go to dealcheck and play with the numbers. Just putting the concept of time into the equation. Got some properties, raw numbers. If I sit back and I wait 10, 15 years. Yeah, but Sandro, 10, 15 years is too long. I don't want to wait that long. But guess what, guys? I came to Canada in 2010. 14 years has passed. And another 14 years is going to go. And when I first got here, 2 years later, 2012, I bought a condo. $122,000 I paid on that condo in Gatineau. And I was so frustrated because the market in Gatineau is completely different than Ottawa. The appreciation at Ottawa was like exploding. And in Gatineau, the prices, they weren't moving at all. Some places, the a very, very, very nice neighborhood, but some places, the prices are actually going backwards. And then when I look now, the same condo that I paid $122,000 in 2012, I sold on the peak of the market for 230, and the person that bought from me just sold right now. So I sold in 2020, and he sold now last week, 2024. So 4 years later, for 260. Now, yeah, but Sandro, if you take the same money and you look in Ottawa, it's different. Well, it doesn't matter. The time is the same. I paid 122,000 on that condo. If I didn't sell, I would have a condo worth 260,000 today paid off, and that could fund my kids' education, for example. Of course, I use the asset to invest in other assets, and why not? But I'm just giving you guys perspective that once you look into the past and things that we've done, things that went well, things that didn't go that well, and yet we can have an idea, oh my goodness, these things, they didn't go well, I would do differently. I would have done it this way and I've done it this way. Okay, so use that as a fuel, as an experience. Look into the future, knowing that. even that you don't know the outcome, even that you don't know what's going to happen, but you have experience and you have a hope that if you take the right moves, you are going to be okay. You are going to achieve the goals that you want. You gotta just be patient. And that, my friends, is one of my greatest challenges. I don't want to be patient. I'm running out of time. Like, I am 47 years old. If I am blessed enough to pass 85, how many years I have left? So how am I using? Because it's not just about the money, right? Like I am coming to the conclusion that the more I connect with very wealthy individuals, the more generous they are. And many of them, they're telling me, 'cause when I ask, man, like, tell me, give me an advice to myself, like, what are the things that I can do differently? It's like, Sandro, don't pursue just money. Like, don't go blindly on that focus. I'm gonna make it a wealth. No, there are other things that are important. See your kids grow up, and I have two boys. I mentioned that already. Like giving value, because time is way more valuable than money. And people are like, time is money, time is money. Like, no, 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 it's not. Time is not money. Time is more valuable than money. Let's stop paying things with money. Let's start paying things with time. What I'm talking about? Well, simple. I haven't seen my parents since, oh man, it's going to 2 years now. 1.5 years since last time I saw my parents. We talked every day. We FaceTime every single day, but actually being present, hugging, touching, kissing, like having time together. That was a year and a half ago. My dad turned 77. If he lives by the age of 85, how many years I have left? 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Oh, yes, 8 years. No, 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 no. If I'm seeing my parents every year and a half, 2 years, I have 4, 5 more times with them, right? If I take in consideration that Spencer is turning 10 this year, and when I look into the numbers, when I look to historically speaking, when the kids they reach the age 12, 13, that is not cool anymore. Now they want to hang out with their friends. My window is closing. So how am I doing with the time that I have right now that I can still hang out with him on my own terms? Because now it's like, Spencer, like yesterday, let's go biking. I don't want to go biking. Let's get out of the house. It's a beautiful day. We're going to go biking. Turn off the tablet. Let's go. And I had such a great time. Now, in 3, 4 more years, he'll be gone before I even ask him. Hey, Spencer, can I come with you? No, Dad, I'm going to hang out with my friends. That's the reality. So let's have that in perspective. Why do you want to build $1 billion portfolio? Like, why? Now, if your why is strong enough for that to justify, go forward. But hey, even if you get 1, 2, 3 properties, that might be enough to help you with your cash flow challenge, to help with your lifestyle. Like, and again, I want to fly private. Yes, and this is not secret to anybody. I say this many, many times. And when I'm going through stuff, like when I feel that I'm struggling, when I feel that my goals they're not happening on the speed I want, right? Like oh, my camera went off here. When things are not happening on the speed I want, can you guys still see me here? Yes, I'm back. Then I'm like, what I do? I stand in front of the mirror and I hear my future self telling me, Sandro, the reason why I'm sitting right now flying from Ottawa to Orlando, flying private, is because you didn't give up. Now, is that a goal? Yes, it is a goal. But is that what is motivating me? No. I want to make sure that if I have the ability to fly, why fly private? Just to say I'm flying private? No. I want to make sure that I'm shrinking time. Because if I want to go see my mom right now, it's 3 hours flight. But it takes me a whole day because I got to leave my house, go to the airport in Ottawa, then get an airplane to Toronto because we don't have direct flights, and then wait the 1, 2, 3 hours before getting the other airplane, and then flying to like. By the time I get there, if I leave my house at 6 a.m., I get there 7 p.m., 5 p.m., like when I'm lucky. Now, I have a neighbor that has a small airplane and he flies to Florida himself. He literally drives to the small airport to have Hidden Prior, park his car there, jump the airplane and go. So by the time I am getting out of the airplane in Toronto, he's already there, right? That's what I'm saying. How about paying things with time and have that concept? Why fly private? Because I want to shrink time. Why would I fly instead of driving? Because I want to shrink time. Why hire other people to do things that somebody else can do it and I can focus on bigger projects? Because I want to shrink time. And this is my challenge for you. Having the certainty that things that you saw happen in the past, as much as we know that if you get the cell phone right now, you're going to make a phone call and the person is going to answer, use that same energy, that same certainty, that same hope towards your goals in your project, and things are going to happen and you are going to be surprised. And this, my friends, is what I have for you today. And before I go, I want to open up. If you have any questions, you want to make any comments, please do it. I would love to hear from you. Let's go. Anybody? Shai, Galit, Julie, I have Danusha here, Jay, Paul. Oh man. I
Yeah,
have
so
this is a
do, do,
great group.
do you remember there was a few years ago this movie about like I think it's called Time, when everybody like pays with their time. Like everybody has like a wallet in their arm, and it has like how much time you got left. So every time you do a transaction, like you have less time, okay, and every time like you get paid or you do a transaction, you sell something, you get more time.
Wow.
So
It's called Time. I'm going to watch. I am going to watch. Thank
check
you
it
for
out.
the recommendation. I will definitely watch it. Next month, we're going to talk about.
Awesome.
Shai, thank you very much. Lisa, thanks for coming. Julie, thanks for coming. Danusha, Paul, Jay, Steve. Oh man. And I have Olisa, I have Hardeep, and I have Diane. Guys, have an amazing week. I hope this message today resonates with you. And let's go get it. We can do anything. We put our minds to it with focus, direction, hope, and dreams. Let's get it. I see you guys at the top. Stay blessed by the best. Have an amazing week.
Bye, Sandro. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, Shai. Thanks for coming. Take care. Let's
Have a good
go.
one.
Bye, Julie. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.